Okay, so now we want to go through the 6 steps of the resolve method, looking specifically at the self-devaluation conflict. So first step, recognize the big picture of GNM, recognize that your symptoms make biological sense. You are not broken. Your body simply has been responding to your perception and experience. That recognition moment is huge. Then you want to realize this is where you make the specific connections between your symptoms and your conflict. And if you look at the workbook for this module, that's the first thing you do is let's make the connections. Let's look at each of your problem areas, each of the things the symptoms that you've experienced either currently or have been ongoing, and what do they mean? So here are just a few examples. So the left neck pain, intellectual injustice or injustice devaluation. And again, understanding the crossover correlation, so left-sided neck pain. If they are left-handed, their left neck pain would be associated with their partner or someone that's not their mother or their child. Going over to left lower back pain, feeling unsupported or feeling shattered. Same thing with the crossover correlation. Bilateral swollen lymph nodes of the groin. That would be a generalized sexual self-devaluation where the person just overall is devaluing themselves in their groin region. Recall. So these are some examples of recalling the moment in time that you think this self-devaluation conflict was initiated. If you go through the notes for this module, you'll see how to approach it. If you are like, I have no idea, I don't know the moment of the devaluation, there's a really great way to understand kind of where you are, and if you feel like you don't really know, a way to kind of work through and come to at least an idea of what you think the devaluation was. So here's an example for this person with this left-sided neck pain. My mom got mad at me for leaving the gate open even though I didn't do it. I got grounded for 2 weeks. I was mad the whole time because of how unfair it was, which would be an injustice conflict, which when the 2 weeks ended, the left side of my neck began hurting. So this person, the whole time that they were grounded, they were feeling, like there was an injustice, like this wasn't fair, and it influenced how this person felt about himself. And so when the conflict ended, when the grounding was finished, he was able to start healing, and that's when the pain arrived. Next, this person really needed help moving, asked help from several of their friends, and most of them said yes, but when the time came, nobody showed up. And they remember feeling really down and unsupported. I wonder why this always happens to me. So you can see how this person in this situation, not only are they upset about their friends letting them down and not having the help that they needed and feeling unsupported, like nobody's there for them, they also wondered, why does this always happen to me? So that indicates that this is more ongoing. So it's not really a one-time thing. This may be influencing their existential position, or their existential position may be influencing their perception in this situation. For the groin lymph nodes, I was raised in a family where sex was really discussed, and when it was in very awkward ways. I've never been comfortable around the topic. My first sexual experience was nice, but the whole time I felt like I was doing it wrong, or that something was wrong with me. So it's so easy to understand why each of these people in these situations felt devalued, were actively devaluing themselves for a period of time, and then when they got over it, when either they weren't grounded anymore, or maybe they got distracted, maybe something else was on their mind and they resolved that conflict, they started to have symptoms. And now that they can make this connection, they can move into the release. So they've got to look at the decisions, the conclusions, the beliefs, the other aspects of their self-concept that are influencing the activity of the self-devaluation. Become aware of them and release these outdated perceptions. And that's why the journaling process is really great, and working through the workbook, because when you get this stuff down on paper, when you shine the light of conscious awareness into these unconscious areas and you make the unconscious conscious, this is where the change can happen. This is where you can let go of the stuff that you're like, oh my goodness, I can see how that is totally not serving me, and I can see how it's not true, and I understand why I made the decisions that I did at the time. Then you want to replace, out with the old, in with the new. We want to consciously craft and create a new self-concept. What do I want to believe? And again, all of this, you'll go through it when you go through the workbook and the journaling for this month. And then you need to reclaim. Healing is about so much more than simply getting rid of your symptoms. It's about discovering who and what you really are, what your capacity is for creating an amazing body, an amazing life, amazing relationships, amazing finances, and really creating the life that you've always wanted.